Hello there, Ercinetka here. I'm the beginner sculptor who wants to get better with each new sculpture. Here is my second attempt of making a voiceover for Sculpting video. Maybe this time I won't sound like Robobora that much. This time I started recording from the point where I already have armature and the base. Mostly because I like making my armature when I'm doing something else at the meantime. Also I think that part is the least interesting in the sculpting process. So now let's focus about the actual sculpture itself. I wanted to make Binding of Isaac Fallacy from a very long time, but after Banana Tiger I was in the mood for making something really big, and instead of picking from stuff that is already in the game, I decided to imagine Delirium with a body. The main concept here is, what if Delirium, instead of turning into one boss at a time, will take the form that takes the features of multiple bosses at once. Legs were pretty obvious things, one from Satan, one from Mother. So after them, I picked the frame and turned him into Delirium Tail. Yes, I had to do that. After legs, I kept following this idea to hands. So the hands belong to the upgraded version of these bosses, Mega Satan and Mother from Antimen. At this point, Mother's leg was almost complete, so I moved on to making the frame's head. Top of the Mother's head seemed to be the best place to place a hash. I feel like he ended up as the least recognizable from the bosses, but it works great as an element of this sculpture anyway. After hash, Mother's heart felt like the most natural thing to be placed next. Actually, that would make more sense if I made heart before hash. And now it's time for one of my favorite things to sculpt, full, so just a lot of cuts. And now I'm gonna start hands that I mentioned before, just to remake this hand 3 times. Monstro is one of the first bosses in the whole Isaac history, so he was the obvious pick to place him at the back of his sculpture. And now we are getting close to my favorite part of the sculpture, Garden. Also one of the bosses from the first versions of Isaac. Now hand falls off. That made me realize that this area needs additional support. When you look at Delirium's version of some bosses, you will notice a lot of white sticky stuff. They just call it ectoplasm and don't assume it's something worse. And thankfully, this white sticky stuff provides a great support for the sculpture. Good thing is, I can place it anywhere and it will completely keep the theme of the sculpture. And why Mask of Infinity was placed on his arm? I think the one and only reason is that because I think it looks cool. It was a bit dangerous spot for Larry Jr., so I haven't messed around with him that much. But Monstro and Guardi already appeared, so Larry was the perfect fit to finish the area with OG Isaac bosses. So now it's time to finally cover this massive ball of foil in clay and make his head. The amount of foil that went into this sculpture was so massive that I can swear sometimes during the night I heard him whispering something about flat Earth. And now here's my favorite detail. Delirious versions of some bosses have extra eyes, so I just went with this idea and made a lot of eyes in the Guardi area, and basically in every part of him that felt empty. When space felt empty for me, I just added extra eye here. Some of you may ask why I used black spray paint as a primer, just to repaint it white. I'm still not completely sure about that, but I think white colors look far better on the black primer, and the black looks better on white primer. And black primer fills a lot of gaps that were very hard to reach with brushes. And the most important factor is that it looks cool while recording. Anyway, at this point I wanted to save some time and use white spray paint, and it worked quite well for this one, especially for her, because it added a unique cracking texture over it. Using only black, white, grey, and yellow was quite a challenge, but I absolutely love how it turned out at the end. base, a book with floating pages. But at this point, this sculpture has so many dangerous details that I gave up with this idea and made a very simplified one. The whole idea for this base came from the ending that you get after defeating the beast. At this ending, it seems that everything that happens in the game are just a bedtime stories that Isaac Dad tells to him. And this ending was part of my inspiration for this sculpture. Imagining Delirium as the big, epic monster, or rather absolute abomination.